What did I ever do to you? Imagine asking that of your own adult child one day and genuinely not knowing the answer. Imagine the distance, the disconnect that would lead to that question. Now picture another kind of future, one filled with a quiet, aching regret, where the painful thought is simply, I just wish I gave you more of my time when you were younger. Two different kinds of future pain, one born of confusion, the other of regret. But both often stem from the same root, an overdrawn trust bank during the teenage years. Today on Talking Teens, we're talking about how to make deposits now to avoid that kind of withdrawal later. I'm Narelle and this is Talking Teens. Today we're talking about trust. The core message is this. The effort you put into your relationship with your teenager now will have a lifelong impact. You are investing in a relationship with them as an adult for the next 50 years, not just managing the short period of their teenage years. And a great way to think about this is like a bank account, a trust bank. It's not one grand gesture that fills it up. It's a series of little things, compounded over time. And yes, while that account starts building in infancy, the tumultuous teen years are often when the withdrawals can feel huge. Sometimes it can even feel like your kid changes banks on you completely, but the deposits you make now are what give them a reason to keep their account with you. So what can a deposit in the trust bank actually look like? If I had to pinpoint one of the most important ones, it's this. You've got to be available, no matter the circumstance. This is something my own dad always said to me. I don't care what time it is, I can pick you up. I would rather pick you up in the middle of the night than stay up wondering where you are. That's a promise I've repeated with my own eldest child. It's the feeling of reliability without fear. And it is so important. And now, some of his friends know that if they're ever stuck and out with my son, we just drop them home too. That is a huge deposit. A second key deposit is creating emotional safety for expression. This is about allowing your teen to express their thoughts and feelings without fear of retribution. And this can look different for boys and girls. The best way, sometimes, to have a real conversation, especially with a boy, is without direct eye contact. When you're not staring them down, waiting for an answer, because that's how it feels to them. Try it when you're driving. Tell them to pull those goddamn earbuds out of their ear for just a second, and then just start talking. Without that intense eye contact, they often feel safer to open up and will just talk away, just babbling, looking out the window, talking to you. Girls, on the other hand, can be a bit different. They often want that direct engagement. They want you to look at them. They want that eye contact because they need to know that you are truly paying attention to them and that you get them. I bet you're sitting there thinking, if those are the deposits, what does a withdrawal from the trust bank look like? A major withdrawal happens when a parent reacts instead of responding. Your teen takes a risk. Then they tell you something vulnerable. Maybe they tried vaping. They got its attention. Whatever it is. If your first response is a knee-jerk reaction of yelling and punishment, that stings. Your reactive knee-jerk reaction stings. They cut deeper because often they feel hurt and upset and possibly really annoyed that they've caused your big reaction. So what do? Well, they'll take a withdrawal from that trust bank. They decide they won't visit that bank for a while, i.e. you. And they'll go looking for another one. And they'll find it. It could be a friend, could be a relative to confide in next time, but it won't be you because you reacted too harshly and too quickly. So how do we make more deposits and avoid those costly withdrawals? Here's a few practical ideas. Number 1, choose to respond with thought instead of reacting with emotion. When your teen drops a bombshell, your only job in that first moment is to breathe. take a few deep breaths. If you feel the adrenaline pumping, it's perfectly okay to say, "Can I have a few minutes to process this before I say something?" Or, "I really appreciate you telling me this, but I want to make sure I get my response right in my head first before I speak." They will understand. What you're doing is actually modeling emotional regulation, and that is a deposit in itself. They will appreciate that. They will appreciate you taking a minute to think of the correct response instead of reacting straight off the bat. Number 2, get a thing to do with your teen. The relationship needs time, not just time in the same house, but dedicated, consistent time together. It could be a sneaky milkshake after school on a Friday. It could be a monthly trip to the movies, or a walk or a bike ride in a local park. It could even be as simple as a rule that every Sunday there is no technology around the dinner table, only conversation. It doesn't matter what it is, but you need to be there, you need to show up, and you need to make those small regular deposits, connecting instead of always correcting. Number 3, you need to own your own withdrawals. Parents aren't perfect. No one is. We all mess up. There will be times you have that knee-jerk reaction. The biggest deposit you can make after a withdrawal is to go back to your teenager later, once you're calm, and just own it. A simple, "Hey, sorry, I reacted really poorly earlier. I'm sorry. It was more about my own fear and it wasn't fair to you. The fact that you trusted me enough to tell me is what is most important." That models accountability, it validates their courage and shows them that relationships can be repaired. And this idea of owning our mistakes is so important. Sir Ken Robinson often spoke about how industrial systems are designed to be fault-free. But human systems, like families, are organic. They're messy, they're noisy, they're all over the place. And they depend on the understanding that mistakes aren't just failures to be avoided. They are an essential part of how we learn and grow. By modeling how to own a mistake and repair a connection, we're showing our teens that relationships don't have to be perfect to be strong. So, the final thought for today. Your trust bank needs constant work. It is not automatically full and is not automatically brimming. Just like any relationship, you need to work on your relationship with your own children. Start investing now, because remember, you are investing in a relationship with them as adults for the next 50 years, not just managing the short period of the teenage years. Join me next time for a special episode as I'll look back on our first big mini-series on parental undermining. I'll be summing up the key takeaways and sharing a few more personal stories to wrap up this foundational work. And I'm asking for your help. I want to hear from you about what our next big theme should be. You can do this by reaching out to me at Talking Teens Official on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and Threads. Send me a DM on the Meta platforms or comment on my post on any of them. I'll see it. I will respond and I won't react. Don't worry. So come ready to reflect and get ready to help shape the future of Talking Teens. Until then, remember that focus, connection over correction. Thanks for listening.